so sometimes, so where we have come from is I started private money brokering in 2017 and did pretty good at did about 200 deals, and then we started putting a fund together back in 2019. Unfortunately, the pandemic kind of interfered with that, and we had an LOI from a sovereign wealth fund that was going to fund us, and then they retracted, about a month into the pandemic. So Kevin's background's pretty solid as far as what he's done on some pretty high level stuff. In 2010, he was actually called in by the Federal Reserve Kansas City branch to consult with them, and he helped them put the community engagement team together, which is the cool thing. So he has his contact Gwen. She since has moved from Kansas City. She was like the number 3 at the Kansas City branch, and she retired and moved to Atlanta. So we put a lot of stuff together. And one of the things, obviously, is we have our associates program. In 2020, during the pandemic, we had about 15 people in it, and it was pretty good. And we had a wide variety of people. So some of them had no experience, and some of them had experience. Out of our people that have really succeeded, probably about 8 of them out of the 15 are really doing well. One is sorry, sometimes I've got to just stop and go to my screen, my shot. So we got one guy who's just out of college, and you guys have seen Cameron Barry if you've seen him boast. Cameron was in our program, and he's doing deals with investors now where they can help you get 50 rental properties, and as long as it's in the Midwest and someone has a credit score of 660, they can get 50 properties, and they do the acquisition loan, the down payment loan, and even cash at closing, which is pretty unique program. And so he's been in there. And then we had another person, Robert Newbern. You'll see him on the YouTube. He built his company, about a $75 million multifamily portfolio out of, he did that during the pandemic because he didn't have any of that. When he started the pandemic, I think he had one property when he started with us in 2020, and we started that in September 2020. So we're doing the 2023 groups right now, and they're pretty solid. So our program is pretty simple. We meet 40 nights a year. We're going to meet 40 nights on Monday nights. We do our sessions, and we have a lot of people from various backgrounds in real estate and stuff like that, that are multifamily, single family. We got some wholesalers, we got some new people, and some very experienced people. We got 7 or 8 lenders, people who are lenders. There's Kevin, actually my partner. So we got some people that are actually lending. We just put a couple of deals together that probably would not have gotten done without our internal lenders, who are actually in our masterclass program, our associate program. Kevin might be able to tell you a little bit about them, but he's been putting 2 deals. One was a guy whose partner actually got sick, and he had to pull out during the process of the rehab. And you guys can imagine that when you're in progress, you've already been funded, and you've got your partner kind of has health issues, and all of a sudden now you're in limbo, and it's kind of hard to just, you don't want to lose the property. There's some really good money left. And so Kevin's putting that deal together. Another deal is, we're putting some really unique deals together. He's got one of our associates in Fort Riley, Kansas, is doing some pretty high end stuff with Kevin, and he's working on, she has some interesting background, and her husband and her just both retired from the Army. So that's pretty much why they were living in Fort Riley. So, and then Jesse's got his company. He's in Massachusetts. He has Pioneer Assets. I might have him talk about he's actually got a situation where he just got 3 single family homes for free, literally, and he can be able to talk about that in a minute and kind of tell you the kind of things we're doing. There's a lot of advanced stuff. So I've put together probably an extensive list of lenders, because you imagine I've been doing this for 6 years, and I've got over 1,000 lenders in a database, and I had them about 6 different lists. So what we've done is we've consolidated them, and I had a VA build what I call 1.0. It's actually in a pivot table, allows people to search for it. There's different areas you can search. You can pull up the contact information for all of them. It's still a work in progress, but having access to 1,300 lenders, a lot of, because you guys are all in the groups. I mean, I've seen all you guys in the different real estate groups, like Jim Ingersoll. I mean, he's got 260,000 people. So I know that people are looking for lenders. So we put this whole thing together to try to help people they can navigate finding a lender. and these are solid. And you can actually go into the lender list and actually look for like a hospitality lender, or somebody does a hotel, or somebody who does, if they do mezzanine, if somebody will take a second, if a first position lender will accept a second position, you can actually pull those up. So there's a lot of good situations on there. We're really getting into AI. So next Monday night, we're doing an AI session. And we've got an AI guy we got two of them. One has a really solid real estate background. Then he can show people how to go with Chat GPT-3. And he's combining Privy, PropStream, and PropWire and a program called Hunter.io. And they got a free version. Hunter.io, you can actually, with using Chat GPT-3 and Hunter.io, you can actually do an email campaign for like free, where you used to have MailChimp, we have to pay them. So it's a really fascinating program. You pretty much have to watch Justin at work. Justin's also in that Gator program, so he can actually help people with funding and, through the Gator program, Base Marby's program. He and I are working heavily on this AI program, and we're gonna incorporate the lender's database, because it's like you can go from start to finish of using the chat program, the AI program with PropWire, which is free. Privy's a paid program. It's about $1,000 a year, and then there's PropStream, and you could use that with. He uses True People, and some other search services. And one time we were able to actually find people in Colorado. I'm in Evergreen, Colorado. I'm 20 miles west of Denver. He was able to find an investor here, and he was able to go to the Jefferson County records, which is one of the harder records to get. And the Colorado State Secretary of State, in about 5 minutes, he was able to skip trace without having to pay a skip tracer, without wholesaler. He found off-market and on-market properties. He was able to make an offer on an on-market property, which is a pretty sweet deal. And so we're going to show that on Monday night. We're basically building this whole program around combining AI with combining our lender list. And so that's one thing we're doing. So we're making that available to people. But we have this associate program is really good, and it's really kind of like I said, we're batting out of about 30 people altogether between 2020 and now. We're batting about 750, eight. If we were batting in baseball, we'd be we'd be twice what probably the major league record is. So there's a few people on here that are actually in our program currently. Doris is on here, and Nancy just clicked on, and Mel. But let me introduce Kevin. So Kevin Knapp, and Kevin, I told him about your family's background. But if you want to talk about, what we're doing and all that, your background. This is Kevin. He's one of my partners, and then I'll introduce Jesse.
Well, I guess to make long story short, I've been doing this for about 12 years now, as far as the private money side goes. I'm one of the founders of the industry, so to speak, and that came about from a meeting I had in the Federal Reserve with a group of people I had. After the last crisis of 2008, the SEC, FDIC, and a bunch of other alphabet soups of the finance industry at the time met in the Federal Reserve Bank here in Kansas City, and myself and the group that I was a part of were invited to attend this meeting. We thought we were in the wrong room because of who it was, and it turns out they wanted to kind of get our opinion as far as what we were doing here. We were trying to put a fund together that would back loans to be able to repair or rebuild houses in the east side of Kansas City, basically the hood, so to speak. And there was nothing that was available at the time to be able to make that happen legally. So turns out there was a war of how they wanted to handle this. The FDIC and the SEC went one way and the Fed went another direction. We all know how that's turned out now. But with the regulations that the SEC has come up with regarding private money, a lot of that came out of that meeting, and some of it was suggestions that we had made to them about what we needed to have done so we could do what we wanted to do. So the 506C Form B is one of those. The accredited investors, being able to do that and actually drop the amount of qualifications for that program also helps. So the idea was to be able to get the capital directly to the people that needed it without going through the banking system, and then have it filter through to the banking system via Home Depot, Lowe's, all the different things that people do. Keep the employment up, ease the effects of a recession, So it's not all hitting everything at the same time, unlike what's happened with this COVID stuff. So it seems to be working rather well. This is the first real test of that. And the more people are pulling out of the paper markets and taking their cash, the more cash is available on the private side. And there's a lot of it that needs to be deployed now. We're getting a lot of pressure from people to do that. And we happen to know where to get projects. There's not a lack of that. So we're sort of coordinators, if you will, between people that need money, people that have money, teaching people how to do the same thing we're doing, and being able to broker private money deals, because you don't have to have a license for any of that. The more that happens, the better off we're going to be. In a lot of ways, we're basically taking possession of our economy by doing this. I know it seems a little strange, but in an awful lot of ways, it's looking more and more every day like this is what's going on. We needed to do something because everybody's lost track of common sense. I don't understand why they put people that don't have it in positions that they're in now, and have a train load of people sitting there waiting to take their place. But it is what it is. And I'm glad that there were some people in that room that day that actually took it seriously and have done something to influence it behind the scenes to be able to create this kind of environment so we can get some things done. It's stable. It's simple interest. You don't have the compounding that goes with it. So it's more secure. If you have a project that is financed that way, the possibility of that project going belly up is reduced dramatically. So it becomes an even better investment, so to speak. You're not trying to drag things down, you're trying to lift things up. It's the exact opposite of what the bankers and everybody else has been doing here. There's no funny money, there's no funny paper, none of that involved. It is what it is. It's asset based. And a lot of times the lenders will even get in there and work with you, not just as lending, but they'll partner up. It's easy to syndicate this way. All of this is available to do with this way. So the real people that really know what they're doing can actually work with each other to get something done without a bunch of idiots in the way. That's the way I see this. And it's only going to get more and more traction as we go, especially now. I do not have much faith in what's going to happen with the United States dollar at this point in time. I don't think it's going to exist much longer. The petrodollar is gone. All the money that's outside the United States in bonds, they have no reason to have that anymore. So all the sovereign nations are dumping them. Where's it going to go? It's going to go here. Well, we have too much money in our system. Well, if you think you got too much money in the system now, wait till the other 80% that's in play comes back home. The Fed's not going to be able to keep up with this. And the way that the banking system is set up as far as their accounting measures are concerned, I can't understand why they would do what they're doing, but they're doing it. The Fed cannot buy enough treasuries to offset what's going to flood the market. Nobody's talking about this, but it's just, again, common sense. So we're in a much better position, not just who we are here, but all of us that are on this call are in a much better position to handle this than most of the people out here. And we're in a lot of ways, we're going to be in leadership positions because of it. So in essence, what we're doing is trying to train people about this, have them, their mindset changed, and try to dump the trash and actually get to some reality and know that it's safe to do that. Okay. And then be able to help other people do it beyond what we do. So we're doing a number of different things, and we're not asking for a whole lot. We don't need to ask for a whole lot. What we're really actually asking for is the time and the effort that it's going to take to do this. And it's not going to take a whole lot of that, because from what I've been seeing so far, most of you folks are way out there as far as experience and everything else is concerned. It'd be like flipping a light switch. And in some cases, you're going to be absolutely relieved that you found this. I've had 5 or 6 people that have come to me to tell me that. So it seems to me like we're all like-minded people coming together at the same time. In a way, one way or another, whether you like it or not, I liken it to being divine intervention, because it's the only way that I can explain how this has all happened this way.
Yeah, we put together my resource library too, Kevin, as I told them about that. I've got probably 300 white label editable documents offering templates.
Oh, well, Yeah,
Yeah.
anything,
Yeah.
the latest and greatest. Nate seems to be pretty good at being able to come up with this stuff. And as far as I'm concerned, I haven't seen anybody else that's been able to duplicate that.
It's like
And if
having
you look
the
if you look at the access that's there, it's wide open. And then once you get involved with this, you're not leaving. This is always going to be there. If something else comes up, you've got it. It doesn't matter. This does not expire. And there's other people that have come in before you guys that are in this group that you're going to have access to and be able to do the same thing with. So it's totally unique in that regard. And we're not interested in being gurus. We don't really have any time for that.
we're like a resource library. I consider we're like a resource library, and I kind of liken it to being in the gold rush and the guys who supply the shovels and the helmets and the food and the water and the horses. Like we've got libraries. Everything we have is a library. So we do put out a lot of videos on YouTube that I put out if you guys watch them. And we put out our 40. We're doing 40 sessions a year on Zoom. That we don't put those videos out to the public. Those just stay within the group. So the ones that are on YouTube now are my public playlist. So it's a pretty good deal. And we have, like I said, over 300 white label editable documents. We got contracts. I have a contract generator, stuff like that. So that's one way we're able to help people. Obviously, we got the lender list. We've got another 8,000 contacts at hedge funds and family offices and endowment funds. And we'll be adding by May 1st, we'll be adding 12,000. Yeah, 12,000 more. Which are 7 of the databases are all known real estate investors and lenders. And we get the AUM, the assets under management. We get whatever programs they have, products they're offering. We get their contact information, their phone number, if they still use a fax, email, website, and all that stuff. They're all, and we vet them through every 90 days. I send a third of our lenders through a re-verification. I hire a different VA. I hire a different VA to run them and put them through, and we're make sure we don't. If somebody's right now, we got a few lenders that are still in business, but they're in contraction. They're not loaning money right now, but they're still in business. So we make sure that people know that. And our database is searchable now. As of yesterday, we got a database that's searchable, and you can just go. It's pretty sweet. People like it. We're going to debug it. We're calling it 1.0. And everybody will get to 2.0. The 2.0 will have another 500 lenders added to it and some more search parameters. You'll be able to go in and say, hey, I'm looking for a lender that'll accept another lender to have a second position. And you can pull up those lenders, and then you can almost narrow it down. So that'll be the 2.0. And then the 3.0 is going to be like all the endowment funds. There'll be venture capitalists. I mean, I'm getting a lot of Silicon Valley. Of course, I'm getting a lot of strange looks when I talk about Silicon Valley right now. But people want to, they want to go and hit up the Founders Fund, or hit up Jesse Draper or Tim Draper, her dad, or somebody, or Peter Thiel. We actually have Peter Thiel's, like 5 of his employees are in our database, which is kind of unique. We got a couple people on right now that are in our program. And Nancy's in it. Nancy's actually been working with Kevin because, like I said, she's in Kansas. She's been working with Kevin over a lot, and then so is Doris. Nancy, do you want to kind of just tell everybody kind of what you've been doing with Kevin?
You want me to come in?
Or Doris? Yeah, Doris, you're here too.
Yeah,
You hear me?
laptop wasn't working.
Yeah, let me get Nancy first. Nancy, that's awesome.
Okay.
Can
I'll
you
get
hear
you
me?
to- Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, if you just-
Absolutely. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. I'm Nancy Obi, U.S. Army veteran. I'm so proud to say that, so I say it all the time. Well, I mean, I've been in this group since February, and like Kevin said, it's a divine intervention. What we've done in the past 30 days is unexplainable, but what I would say is we are walking. We were able to achieve a couple of deals for the real estate, like the grain facility, because I'm actually into ethanol processing, import and export. So, but I was trying to get into the multi-family real estate. So when I came into the group, I didn't know much about the multi-family real estate. So Kevin and Nate, they just held my hands and the rest is history. So that's where I'm going to stop from now. But just know it's a divine intervention.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Doris is here. She's been in. Actually, you guys started in January, but Doris, you're.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to kind of tell everybody kind of what we've been doing in the Monday sessions.
Well, listen, I've been in since January, and we had talked on various subjects from lending primarily, the minerals and silver and gold as optional area to go into, along with real estate. I think this week and last week was doing offer presentations to get feedback from the group, so that you know whether or not you're on the right track or on the wrong track, which is important, because you don't want to do an LOI and find out you made a major boo-boo, because major boo-boo can land you in trouble. This is a good group to be into. Is for the most part, we try to help each other out. So if you got a question, don't be afraid to ask, because someone's gonna give you an answer.
Yeah, we got a good group, and like Mel just joined us, and he's got a deal closing tomorrow. Mel, you still got your deal closing tomorrow? I don't know if he's on or not. I thought he was driving. He may be
Yeah.
driving.
No,
Oh, cool.
I am
Hey.
driving. Yeah. I feel like I do have a deal going on tomorrow. We have a closing at 8 o'clock in the morning, and so
Wow.
yeah, I'm lending 127K out on this deal. The sale price is 130. The ARV on it's about 185, 190. So it'd be a nice little take. There's nothing on the market right now, so I think we'll probably be selling it off market probably within the next couple of days, actually. So good time right now for something like this.
Yeah, that'd be good, and then then you'll have your capital back and all that. So just like I said, like I told you this morning, just make sure you're first on everything's in your name, the title, and all that, so that way you can protect yourself. As the lender, you should be as a lender. You need to be in first position, like we talked about this morning. And then Jesse, of course,
Right.
guys, is Jesse's our partner is Kevin and I, and actually Jesse's been involved with me before Kevin, so he's been almost 4 years now. Come June, so Jesse's in Massachusetts, and he has a couple rental properties. So Jesse, what's up?
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, it's hard to believe it's been that long.
Yeah. So and then
Good to meet you,
guys,
Jesse.
Jesse's also really good guys at finding like mining stuff, and we have some resources. Kevin's actually pretty experienced in reading the 43-101s, which is and we're in the osmium. We won't really talk about it tonight. If you guys want to talk about osmium ever, don't Google it because you'll get the wrong osmium. But we have a phenomenal. We're actually two of the distributors, and Jesse's in it. Jesse actually owns some, so he could actually show you what it looks like. Right now, osmium is trading around $2,000 a gram, like what gold is, and it's pretty cool. So I'll just mention strategic metals. So you'll see me post strategic metals sometimes, and sometimes the osmium daily price. Like strategic metals like gallium and germanium and terbium, they're so in demand that the Department of Defense and Department of Energy have strategies, and they have general officers that are actually assigned to pursue them. So like terbium went up 346% in value over the last 4 years, and it's hard to explain there's all kinds of different uses for it, like engineering, and there's a lot of energy and defense and aerospace, and there's a lot of gallium is a product. It's so rare. There's the worldwide demand of gallium cannot even keep up with what's just needed in Austria alone. So that had 240%. So we're very much in tune with strategic metals and critical minerals, which is a little bit different than explaining about gold and silver, because you guys could find gold and silver, spot prices and all that all day long. So we call it diversions. So in our group, we have a thing called diversions, and we do these little events from time to time where we just talk about it. And we do a lot of stuff with osmium. So I don't, Kevin, do you want to just really quick maybe do a 2-minute spiel on osmium, and then we'll move back to real estate.
Yeah, on the osmium thing, it's the last of the precious metals to come to market. And in this form, it's crystallized. In any other form, it releases a toxic gas. So it has its own natural booby trap. It's the densest element on the planet, so you really can't plate over it or plate it over anything else to speak of. And there's only going to be a bobcat bucket full of it. That's it.
Yeah, it's
And basically, it's 24,000 times more valuable than gold because there's 24,000 times more gold on the planet, according to the United States Geological Survey, than there is osmium.
oh, sorry, that was
So if you were to compare it to gold, you just basically 1 cubic meter versus 24,000 cubic meters. It's that simple math. So whatever the gold price is times 24,000, that's what the value of that bobcat bucket full of osmium is going to be worth. It started at 840.
is he there?
We lost his voice.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes it comes down to Kevin. Your voice is lost. We'll get him back. I'll get him back and I just sent you guys a couple of links. Kevin, I can't find your voice to try to find it.
I think I'm here. I don't know what happened there.
Okay, you're back. Okay.
The whole point of the matter is we're getting in it at a time where it's relatively cheap. And what we're going to be trying to do is put together several $1 billion and buy that much at one time. $1 billion worth would take the price from $2,000 a gram to $20,000 a gram overnight. And it's based on the price chart and the history of it. There's really no room to go back.
Yeah, so guys, just what Kevin's not talking. So the Osmium Institute is in Germany and they have a partnership with a lab in Switzerland, and they're the only ones who can do this. And they came out to Colorado.
Economic,
Yeah.
It's set up like an NFT. They have each one of these things has got a 3D microscopic photograph of it, and they assign a number to it, and then they assign another code for the person that owns it and the person that possesses it. I happen to know that $500 million worth weighs about 67 pounds and can fit in a shoebox. It's extremely portable. And if somebody thief comes in there and tries to rummage through your house, they're going to look at that and think it was a CD horribly gone bad because that's what they look like. They're smooth on one side, the other side has got that little crystal sheen to it. Okay, nobody's going to know what to do with it. And even if they did take it to a pawn shop, nobody's going to buy it because you have to have that code to be able to sell it. So it's ultra secure. And for people that know what that's like and play in those circles, this is nirvana, because gold is not that stable. Gold has been rented out 40,000 times. Nobody knows who owns it. And you just take it, melt it down, put another stamp on it, and somebody else owns it. You can't do that with osmium. You cannot mess with osmium. It is what it is. So it's ideal for backing digital currencies or Bitcoin or anything like that. The total value of that at $2,000 an ounce gold is $597 quadrillion. Now, what I see here isn't a whole bunch of money. What I see here is 300 or 400 years worth of economic activity backed by it. I see space, I see science, I see everything that mankind is getting ready to get into financed. The current system will never be able to do that.
It's pretty incredible stuff, guys. We just talked about it. I mean,
people. There's 1,500 people on this planet that have access to it right now. And I'm really one of the few people that actually knows how this works.
Yeah, 3 people in this group right now, because Jesse's in it too. Jesse actually has some. If you guys ever want to see it, he can show you his on video. But getting back to real estate, guys, like I said, most of you are here because you're in the real estate stuff. And we're going to show, and I'm going to send you guys an invitation to Monday night. If you guys want to come in and watch Justin Birch work magic with AI, ChatGPT 3. Like I said, he's going to work with our lenders list a little bit with the database, but he's going to show people really cool stuff with AI, because AI is so, I mean, the ChatGPT 3, they actually put the New York state bar exam for new lawyers into ChatGPT 3. It only scored like a 12%. They put GPT 4, which just came out, the paid version, and it got a 93% on the New York state bar exam. That's how incredible powerful it is. You know, and Elon Musk put a lot of money into OpenAI, and he has some, they thought it was gonna be a nonprofit. Now it's got a market cap of like $30 billion. Microsoft and Google I mean, Microsoft came out so strong that Google had to bring back Sergey and Larry Page to help them catch up, and they still haven't caught up. Elon's doing it. Mark Zuckerberg's going to be doing AI. So on Monday night, I'll send you guys. That's why I wanted you guys to register. I'm going to send you in the morning a couple of things, just a couple Excel different programs. You may like them, you may not. Cool, you delete them, whatever. They're awesome. One's like doing 24 months of projections, another one's a net worth cash flow kind of calculator. And then I'm going to send you guys the invitation to Monday night, where it's just going to be like 2 hours. And then if you can't make Tuesday night, then I will send you the link so you can watch the video at your own time. You know, if you have to break it up or something. But Justin is really amazing. I know Kevin could tell you Justin's we got another guy that works with Justin who's going to work with Justin. They don't know each other. Armando is the guy who works in defense and aerospace. He works in ITAR, which is, I don't forget the exact term of it, but he works in arms control and arms reduction. And he works at a defense contractor, and he works in classified areas with AI. So he's able to actually he's not gonna be here on Monday night because his father's in hospice, but he's gonna be back working with Justin in a couple of weeks. So they're gonna put together this incredible AI program that we're gonna be able to help you guys with, help everybody that works with us basically blow your business up. And we have another almost 1,000 AI tools. And so he's going to be able to plug that in where you could build a website, you could build a landing page, you can go to you can get common use images. So if you're doing a property or something, you're doing any kind of a website, you can pull common use images of like apartment buildings and stuff that are just, anybody can use them. You don't have to worry about getting licenses or paying royalties. You can do that in minutes. He built a website. He showed us, I think Justin on the call, Kevin was, and I know Doris was, when he showed his associate Chino came on, and they built a website in like 15 minutes using AI. It was a very impressive website. And they did it in 15 minutes. So it's pretty powerful. So that's something else we're going to show everybody. So just like I said, we just really wanted to kind of introduce ourselves because everybody sees they see us all over. I spend most of my time marketing, working on this stuff, building documents, doing contracts. People contact me to do a contract. I send it out. I've got securities attorneys. I had a securities attorney ask me if I went to law school and never took the bar. So, but I've done a lot of, I've done a lot of, I know the Regulation D like the back of my hand. I've done a lot of stuff working on PPMs and stuff like that, offer memorandums. We're gearing up in a big way for when the SEC finally signs off on finders, tier 1, tier 2 and all that. We went over that in our class a couple of weeks ago. So our program is 40 weeks, 40 Monday nights. We obviously won't be meeting Memorial Day, Labor Day, July 4th weekend, a few other ones, but 40 Mondays a year where we basically talk about everything from, private money brokers to private money lenders to how, if you want to broker money, because I tell people who are new, they don't have cash and they're always looking for the 100% financing. Well, there's two ways you can start building your income cash, and that's you can wholesale, but do it in a way that we show it, where you're using, with Pretty, we found a property in Indianapolis for 34% of ARV, which is a really good deal. But you could also broker private money, and we've also got programs for private lenders, like Mel and about 7 or 8 other people that are in our program. They're going to be lending money. We're going to be setting them up with all their documents, their borrower's checklist, everything that they need to protect themselves when they lend money. So we can help people set up their front office and their back office, provide lenders the lender list and the databases. So by mid-May, end of May, we'll be able to provide everybody with 20,000 contacts. Now, keep in mind, it's not 20,000 firms, because there's some firms where we have like 25, 30 people, but we have those, we have the some hedge funds, we have portfolio managers, and we have analysts, as well as some of the C-suite officers. So we got 20,000 contacts by May. Right now, we're at 1,300 lenders and 8,000 contacts. So that's a pretty good amount. We're providing everybody, everybody that's in our group has we have the private group for our group. We also have a private Facebook group where we just have we have that database, and then we also email it to everybody who subscribes, and then the updates will always be emailed and posted, and then we'll delete the previous version, so we get 2.0 and then 3.0, and then after that it's going to be like, just as we add lenders and take them away, we'll go in there and delete that and put the new one in there. But I'm constantly I spend a lot of time, probably 3 lenders a week that I'm adding. I've got 2 tomorrow that I've got calls with. Kevin's on the phone constantly putting these deals together, like with Nancy. So, he's a guy that can put deals together. He can find, Gwen is phenomenal. His contact from the Federal Reserve. She's got a lot of contacts. I've got another associate of mine I've known 15 years. He's working on a project in my hometown, Evergreen. And I connected him with, he's working on a deal for 17 new houses, construction, new subdivision in Pueblo, Colorado. But in my hometown, he's working with a developer, and it's going to be a hotel, a bank, an urgent care facility, a Carl's Jr., a car wash, and about 20 retail outlets and offices. And it's a pretty interesting project. The developers are actually donating a $4 million fire station to the fire department because he has to move the current fire station, in which, ironically, I was a member of that fire department. I worked for that fire department 20 years ago. I left, and I was actually I was the county fire chief in Las Cruces, New Mexico. But I worked for that department for 4 years, and it was kind of a rundown fire station. They're going to get a brand new state of the art facility. So these are the kind of deals we were working on. We put deals together that with funding sources that people just don't have. And Kevin put a couple of deals together. Like I said earlier, before he got on tonight, this week, worked on a couple deals with one of our associates who can lend money with a couple of our other associates. So the good thing is a lot of our people, we have 7 or 8 internal lenders, people that can do transaction funding and help with double closings and help with, so that's a good thing to be able to have that and hopefully have that more exclusive for our people that we work with rather than going out to the general public. That way you get to know, everybody gets to know each other, and that helps a lot, so if anybody has any questions on all that, I know some people have some questions in the chat. Like I said, this won't be released in the public. This is just really kind of a meet and greet, and then we save it in our archives. But yeah, if you got questions for Kevin or anybody else, but like I said, we thank you. We didn't want to go too long. We spend about 5 hours a week on Zoom as it is. Just doing our associate programs and stuff. That doesn't include when we're trying to make deals and we have to do other Zooms.
Okay.
So I appreciate everybody's time if you guys got questions. So Casey was asking about the 50 homes. So I think the FICO is 660, and the gentleman's name is Cameron, Camren, Barry. I can just put his link in there. You guys will find him. He's in some groups. He's in our group. He's in our 2020 class. It's a program where he has investors and he has his partners, and they will help you get 50 rental properties. It has to be in the Midwest. I think that's the parameter of the investors. So, there's all some situations that if you're not comfortable being that remote from your rental properties, these are single family, they can do the acquisition loan, the down payment loan, and they can actually pay you some money at closing. So you have to qualify, but it's a phenomenal program. And I mean, Jesse's known Cameron, and
Yeah,
so Kevin,
I'm trying to do it.
yeah, he's trying to work with him right now, and he's known him for a couple of years. So Cameron is he was just out of college when he was working with us in 2020. Had not done anything. He took our associate program in 2020 in September, height of the pandemic, and now he's doing these kind of deals already. It's kind of like having I kind of think about like Elon Musk when he put the first Tesla on the road, or he launched the first rocket, So I don't know. So yeah, it's a great program, Casey. If you're interested in that, we can hook you up with Cameron.
Yeah, I'm curious. It kind of caught my attention. With all the lenders in the list, a buddy of mine and some other people that we know, there's a lot of free and clear land that they get, and it's hard to get, loans against dirt because some of it's rent, some of it's now ground, but some of it is like one piece is 600 acres in the middle of Nevada that the mineral rights are gone, so it's for preppers. That's about it. Or if you want a nice night sky, you can go out there. But We're looking to consolidate all the land and just get maybe a 30% LTV and get some usable cash going. Is that possible maybe in some of these lenders?
Some of them there will be, but we also have people like this in our group that kind of can get creative. It really depends on what we can do with the land. I mean, if it's in Nevada, is it close to Vegas? You know, things like that where you could.
It's south of Winnemucca. I think
Oh, okay.
there's potato farms to the north, but water is an issue where we're at. So it's kind of,
Yeah,
it's
it's kind
personal
of
use land, probably.
yeah, it'd be kind of cool. I mean, for that kind of stuff, like there's an area called Hartselle, Colorado, up in Park County, you know, South Park area, and
Mhm.
it's Hartselle. You can go buy land. You can go buy like that $100 a month where you pay for like 5 years and you own like 2.5, 3 acres in the middle of nowhere. And it's somewhere that I've looked at just because you can put an RV or build a cabin. It's kind of cool. You can see, you know, there's
Yeah, that's some, if you want to do like a paper farm, ranchettes or something.
yeah, it depends on the use. There are a lot of landletters. What I will say is because there is a land button, you can push the land and all the people that will lend on land will pop up. And then you can have
Okay.
contact information. Keep in mind we are debugging it a little bit, but it's right now it's usable. And I'm offering it for $99 through the next couple of weeks just to get it out there. And then like I said, we're going to be doing the 2.0. We'll be adding family offices, the hedge funds, and all that. And we won't be adding the endowment funds and pension funds to that one. And then we're going to have venture capitalists and some other areas, but all the real estate related will end up being in the 2.0. And everyone has the 1.0. We'll get the 2.0 free as the just the update. It's just kind of like when you have your iPhone and they send you an update. Only you know about it. And we just send it to you and you just delete the old one and you got the new version. And it's Excel. It's pretty easy to use. And then Cameron's going to do the AI presentation, and then he's going to incorporate. And not Cameron, Justin. Justin's going to do the AI presentation, and he was excited about He's been using our what the basis what we turned into the searchable because we used to have them all separate, the lender list, and he's been using them already in his AI program. And now he's like, he's like a kid on Christmas now. And Kevin can tell you, Justin's a smart guy, and he's a Gator lender, guys, too. So if you guys need a Gator, everybody's asking about Gator these days, and he's tied into that Case Marby program. And there's other people that have told us, like Kevin was saying earlier, there's some people that have said, dude, you guys need to be charging like 10 grand for this. And it's like, we want to build an empire. We don't want to build we want to build an empire with people that just want to go out there and just take deals down and get all kind of access to a lot of sources. We're going to be working on a capital raise that we started in 2019 that got held up because of the pandemic. And we had an LOI and a full commitment from a fund that was associated with JP Morgan. They were a correspondence fund. They had to go into traction because JP Morgan basically directed their correspondent funds to pull out. It's kind of like a lot like that firm that Steve Carell was portraying in The Big Short that worked with Morgan Stanley. So they had a full commitment. They were going to fund this. We're going to be doing it through an investment bank called Del Morgan. They're like a tier 2, tier 3 investment bank, but it'll be quite a bit of capital. Kevin's talking about we're going to be, some of it's going to be for real estate, some of for osmium, and then we're also looking to do in-ground assets. Everything we do or touch is physical assets, real estate, tangible assets. The only interest I would have in crypto is, like Kevin alluded to earlier, with NFTs. We have looked at, and I know there's another guy that's talking about an NFT, having an NFT that's backed by real estate and physical assets, so that you would actually get your NFT or whatever the token is, would actually have backing, and then all the real estate and all this stuff, all the transactions would go, and then people would get their returns, instead of the staking and the yields that they're talking about that, some of these funds have gotten in trouble for. You would actually have real actual assets backing it, getting returns when you go and buy a multifamily, large multifamilies. We're not talking the small ones. And you go to the value as the rent, all the stuff you have to do to them, and you flip them or you stabilize them and refinance them, and then you put the money back in, and you could build up reserves and you could build up the returns for the people that hold the NFTs. And that would be something I would be interested in doing and pursuing at some point, is trying to do some kind of NFT backed by real estate and physical assets. We don't want to do anything that isn't a physical asset. You want to have title to it. You want to own it. like Kevin was saying about osmium, dude. They have a disc that's like this big. It looks like an old Laserdisc player. Their packaging is a lot like an iPhone box. It's really professional, high end. I mean, if you guys need it, Jessica probably still has his box. They send it to you. It's really incredible, and you can put it on your shelf and have somebody come in and rob you, and they will never touch that because they probably don't know what it is, and it could be the $10 million disc because they literally have a $10 million disc. I put the website on there. You guys can go through it and see the family offices. You can get a piece of osmium for as low as like $60. All up to 10 million. And Ingo, who's the guy behind osmium, he actually almost dropped a $50,000 piece into the river when he was visiting.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, he was holding it. Kevin can show you. He had the medallion. Actually, I'll show the picture where I was wearing the medallion, and then he was over the river and he almost dropped it into the river. I was like, oh, it's 50 grand. They actually had to, like, you guys ever picture like, CIA guys going to the airport and they're like this with the money? They got it under their arms and they got cash or whatever when they're smuggling. The CIA guys, they were doing that to get to the airport through customs with all the osmium they were carrying. They had a couple $100,000 of it that they brought here. They came to visit us for 4 days in my hometown. So guys, we're kind of important with osmium. They've sold about $500 million worth, but they came to my hometown for 4 days to meet with us. So that was pretty, 3 people from Germany. So it's a pretty fascinating world. So if anybody's interested, we just do it as diversion. It's just really informational and educational. If people want to get into it or look for something, to invest in, they do have a marketplace now where people can do peer to peer. They can trade it back and forth with each other. It wasn't designed for that. They were supposed to have a market in about 5 years after, but enough people got into it, and I like it for jewelry because jewelers can use it. They have some jewelry that shows up on their websites, and even Hublot and Ulyss Nardine have made watches with it. But primarily, it's a store of value. And osmium could also be used, like I said, if we combine it with real estate and physical assets with an NFT. It'd be awesome for that. It's just a lot of work to do on that. But yeah, guys, like I said, we have our lender list and databases available in our associate programs. So I didn't do this to pitch it. Just like you guys are interested and want to talk about it more, just reach out to me because we've got it's a great opportunity to get a lot of resources. And like I said, we're a resource library. It's kind of like going to Barnes and Noble or Amazon. It's like if you're a real estate or tangible asset investors and you need, you don't have to go and join 5 different gurus to get different strategies. We got the 3-option offer. I can talk more about that later. We got all kinds of stuff. We got a lot of strategies where we can just give you ready-made, pre-made, white labeled, all the forms and templates you need and all that. And we've got the people within our group who can talk to you about it. And then at the end of the year, we're launching a virtual program. It's going to be pretty cool. And I'm going to put in, this is probably one of the last things I'm going to do. I'm going to put in I'm going to be putting in a website to a company called Lightspeed VT, and they would be the provider. And they do Grant Cardone's program. So they're like it's pretty cool. It'll be all high end. It's going to be instructional, virtual classes. There'll be tracks, classes, a full subscription. This other company I'm putting in, Storm Ventures Group, it's nothing to do with what we do. They are a storm restoration consulting company. They train roofing companies and storm contractors and insurance agencies. And the Storm Ventures Group has, if you go to their contractor store, you can see what we're going to be doing. Will be a store where people can go in and buy the packages and get all the forms that are labeled. They have their logos. You can order them and they'll be able to have their logos and their information on them and stuff ready made. But they'll also have the virtual program. And we're also going to be bringing in people on to be facilitators and practitioners who there'll be 2 revenue pools. One will be just everybody that participates will get something every month for participating as a facilitator or practitioner to be presenting the material and then there'll be another pool for people that are more the mentor kind of level that can actually work with people more on one. Plus there'll be a lot of opportunities to JV with people, do partnerships. And this will also attract us a lot more people that are just looking to place capital. So we're building that to debut 4th quarter of this year and the 1st quarter of next year. And that'll be it'll be kind of a cool program where you'll be able to go in there and do like a whole track if you want of how to take a Class C multifamily apartment complex and make it a Class B, and probably got 100 5 to 7 minute videos. And the reason that they do 5 to 7 minute ones is they found that people have, with their attention span and their learning span and being able to process and store information, that 5 to 7 minute modules work better. And each module ends with 2 to 3 questions. And so at the end of the modules or whatever, it could be 10, it could be 25, it could be 100, then you could have a test. So if you have employees or if you have people you're paying for, you can actually verify through the quizzes and the tests that they're taking it. You can study their, I had it when I had my roofing company, and I had 10 people in it. I had 7 of my salespeople, I had my production manager and my sales manager, and then myself. And so I was able to watch them learn. And as a matter of fact, they were able to increase. It was incredible. Our production costs went down, and then our profit went up. And all that because of the way that they were handling deals. And that was at a time that the state of Colorado, really cracked down on roofing companies for storms, because Colorado's right after Texas for hailstorms. But yeah, so that's everything we've kind of got going on. If anybody really is interested in doing, like I said, right now the lender listing database is, to get that kind of information for that price, it's a pretty good deal. And so is our associate program, which you get everything else. So I'm not here to pitch it tonight. I'm just going to throw it out there. So if you just want to think about it for a couple of days, you can always reach out to me. And I think we're pretty close to wrapping up. I didn't really want to go more than about an hour.
Nate,
Nate?
I just wanted to.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead,
Jerry.
Jesse.
Oh,
No, I'm just listening in.
Go
Yeah.
ahead, Jerry.
What I was going to ask is, I heard you the 50 property thing. Now, was that 50 single family properties
yes, 50
in that
single.
regard?
Yes, 50
Okay.
single.
They are mostly single families, but they'll go up to 4 units in some cases. One that I'm looking at is a 2, and then I have 2 smaller single family ones. That'll be, single family
Okay.
rentals.
Let me get you in touch with Cameron. That way you can actually deal, because there's some things that I haven't participated in the conversation. I can just vouch for him, but it's a great program. So I can reach out to Cameron. I can do that tomorrow. I'll just CC you. I'll just on Messenger, and I'll just
Yeah, no,
I'll
that's
connect you guys.
fine.
And then yeah.
Because for me personally, right now is I'm in the wholesale space.
Yeah.
But in the wholesale space, I've been getting some, I went ahead and joint ventured with another, I'm a part of the Astro flipping community, with Jamil, and I've got a lot of friends now in sub 2 with Pace as well, just kind of, that cross organization there. But I JV'd with a person out of Vegas just to get a little bit of consistent smaller deal flow. But my actual business partner, he's in Michigan, and he and we're full bore on the multifamily. Right now we've got about 28 different deals that we're sitting on that have been brought to us that we're trying to help disposition for the people that have them. And I would say out of the 28, 23 of them are probably actually real deals, and the other ones are probably, I just haven't had a chance to finish vetting, underwriting those deals. Cause it's like, people will say, oh, we've got this. If I've seen it anywhere on Facebook, I'm like, yeah, no, thanks. We have a couple of deals, and where I want to be is I want to have 200 doors by the end of 2025. Wholesaling was my way that I thought that I would be able to gain capital to be able to start investing and, start with some smaller properties. But some of that I'm seeing is it's still even harder to kind of get into some of those smaller properties for me. And I just might be looking at things wrong. But I'm an underwriter. Like I've been a finance manager in the car business for the last 15 years. I was a realtor for 12 years. I'm a numbers guy. So what I'm always doing is I'm underwriting, looking at deals. I'm trying to find the pieces that are missing. Because prior to doing this, I was starting to look into buying cash flow businesses. And it was really a matter of, I need the cash flow to buy the cash flow. And that's where I'm trying to find is how to have a group of people that I can work with, because I'm getting a lot better at finding these deals, but I need people that I can essentially bring them to, that I can partner with.
Yeah,
that I can say,
we
Yeah.
can definitely make that work, because we've got several people that are in this organization that's all they're doing too. In my point of view, I can see us 25, 50 a month.
Yeah,
That's pretty serious volume, but we're all over the United States right now. And with the kind of resources that we're getting, it's not going to be hard to do that. Not to mention the way that we're putting these together. You sound like somebody that likes to build money machines. And
What other way,
seriously,
what other
yeah.
business should there be?
yeah.
Well, the whole point of the matter is it's a mindset that's different from people that actually want to try to make some money, but don't have the skills to be able to put A to Z in different ways. And that's what you're doing. What we can do, we can virtually put multifamily deals together that are risk-free at this point. We're getting that good. And it's all about a formula. And there's a gentleman
Okay.
that we have in our group, in the original group, Moreno, that is excellent at doing that. So basically what we would end up doing is putting like-minded people together, because you guys are going to have access to everybody that's ever been affiliated with us. And then will ever be affiliated in the future with us. So your concept is exactly what we're trying to do. And we can do it in multidimensional ways. We have people that are definitely into multifamily. We've got one that actually graduated the last class. He's got 100 million in it. He picked up $75 million worth of cash along the way in a year.
Right, and
So,
that's like Pace has been.
Yeah.
Pace has got all this stuff out there that Pace is doing, but Pace is also Pace. So he has got pieces and a lot of that credibility that just comes from, people. He can just say, hey, look me up on YouTube. And the sellers are like, oh my gosh, yay. And
Yeah.
they'll do whatever for him. That's great. I'm not knocking it. If I could do it one day, awesome. But what I'm really looking for is a way to be able to get into these deals where, from what I'm structuring right now, is the hardest part right now is the capital. Is, I've got a lot of people that want to buy and they're like, oh, well, I just don't, I don't have the $4 million to put down on a, $15 million property. And I'm like, but you want the seller to finance it. And I'm like, that's great. But a lot of the properties that I've been given that we're coming across are, I've got stuff between 8 million. I've got one that's 457 million that we got brought. And I'm like, still trying to get my head around that. That's,
we have those kind of resources. We have the kind of people that are playing in that space. One of our current students, Gabe Grzinski, is in Dallas. We've got the I-35 corridor all the way down into Houston and San Antonio pretty much locked up from Kansas City South with people just like that. I don't think it's going to be an issue. If anything, I would say that you'd be a welcome addition to the family based on what you're doing and what your situation is, because we've got people we can move. We got capital sources that can handle those things. We can do a lot of syndication work and provide that. It's not that difficult to do with us.
That's awesome, because my partner Thaddeus, I live in Maryland, he lives in Michigan. And so everything we're doing is all virtual, which is what most of this is nowadays, is pretty much all Zoom calls and phone calls now. And he and I have been working on an idea. Thus far, we haven't been able to find anybody else that's working it. So we're playing it a little close to the vest.
Yep.
And it's not something that costs money. I mean, it does, but it's not something that's like, oh, we need you to pay us $5 million for the idea. We're just trying to figure out how to. We've talked to a couple syndications. We've talked to a couple hedge funds. We've talked to a couple of, brokers that are selling loans to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. And thus far we haven't, because we're trying to piece it together. That's the hard part, is it's like, hey, we really think this is a very conceptual idea that isn't being utilized. And somebody might be doing it, but we haven't been able to find anybody that is yet. And we're trying to piece that together, but we need people that have money, that know how the whole thing works from A to Z. But it's like, how do we tell that to somebody without then just losing the idea that the people that have the money? And this is exactly why this is the kind of group that, Nate, when you and I jumped on the phone, a week and a half ago, it's got to be somebody it's got to be a group that's outside of the normal box, because the box is great, but that's where a lot of things go to die, is in a box. And
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
that's the biggest thing for me.
I mean, who would have thought? I mean, Nancy's working on a grain elevator right now with Kevin and with Glenn, and we've got people working on some really outside the box kind of stuff. And I think just we're adding more and more. We're getting these databases. I mean, a lot of people when they join, a lot of the money I'm spending basically acquiring more resources and getting the databases, getting the venture capitalists, because people come to me all the time for things, and I'm like, my background's I've done 200 real estate deals. I haven't done a working capital deal. And I haven't done, merchant cash advance. I looked into the merchant cash advance stuff because it was a fascinating industry. And, it's like, I actually used one when I had my construction company because the insurance companies were a little bit slow on paying my clients. So I had to kind of get some
Right.
and I did this. And, so there's some interesting areas. And I think outside the box, if you've got a great idea, when we do our sessions, we don't record our Monday night sessions except for internally. We send them out to the
Mhm.
people who are in the group who can't make it for whatever reason. And then the public playlist is completely different. I don't put anything on there. So we usually will at some point on the Monday night session, maybe we start at 6 o'clock. We might be done by 7:15-ish. At that point, we turn the recording off and we may be there for another hour or two. And that's the time to bring up and kind of game out your idea with the people that are in that group, because not only do we have all these databases, but we have people that have ideas and they can reach out, like, Kevin's buddy, Glenn. I mean, when you got a senior officer of the Federal Reserve, that person knows a lot of people with money, and she's putting some deals together with like Nancy and some other people. So we're able to put a lot of good stuff together that way. We have a lot of analyzers. I got 3 different multifamily analyzers, all kinds of different things that are excellent spreadsheets. Like I said, tomorrow I'm going to put out the 3 business-oriented ones for free to everybody who came tonight, so everybody kind of see, hey, if you're that deep into, these are really good Excels. Our databases are solid though. I mean, literally, it's going to be even better as a 2.0 and getting a 3.0 when you can go and look up for venture capitalists, when you can access Jesse Draper, Tim Draper, Peter Thiel. Those kind of people are in there. I actually have Jared Birchall's contact information, and who he manages. He manages the wealthiest person in the world's money. He's the manager behind. He's the family office manager for Elon and his family. He manages his mom's money and all that. So we have resources, and we don't. We're not like out there like gurus, like, hey, we need a Lamborghinis or whatever. Everything we put in, a lot of our stuff just goes into getting more resources. And it's like going to the library. The library is going to have new books all the time, and so we're always getting the new books. We're always getting the new magazines, the periodicals, the new reference materials, and that all becomes your guys's. And everything you can do, you can download. And right now, it's a little bit because it's in a files tab. So it's not, once I get the website done in the virtual system, you'll be able to just go to a directory and go, I need this. And it's going to pull up the 8 or 9 items that go with that category. Right now, it's like everything that's in there, you can download and you can use find and replace. You can put your logo, your name, modify them. We got the contracts, we got offer templates for almost every sub 2, the 3 option offer, which Kevin and I really preach. So like I said, we got a ton of resources, and we got people that can put ideas behind your deal. That maybe they're in on it with you. That's up to you. Maybe they're not. Maybe they just, or our databases. We're gonna have a videos in May from 2 securities attorneys. So they're going to talk about Regulation D and Regulation A, and how to raise capital, how to do your PPM, your offering memorandums. AI is going to allow you to do an offering memorandum in like an hour. That's legally compliant with the SEC.
Yeah, that's one of the pieces that Thaddeus and I have both been. I've spent probably an hour and a half to 2 hours a day on ChatGPT. Tuesday and Wednesday was crazy because I'd be on it and then it would stop and be like, just because everybody was on it. But that new release was pretty phenomenal, and just trying to learn how to do better prompting on it. Of as a real estate expert, as an expert in multifamily investment, and doing those kind of things, the answers because I had a buyer that I got in touch with, and he's out of New York. He's a COO, and they're looking to purchase 10 projects this year in 2023 to build a minimum of 200 plus new multifamily units on each of those 10 projects. And I was able to pull up the zoning requirements for that level of investment in Florida, Texas, and Arizona within 15 minutes. Like I had the whole structure based out what all the different ones were. So when people send me, I've got people working on sending me those land deals that they have. All I have to do, I can now compare that to that list from ChatGPT, and it's like, oh, nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. And okay, yep, that's PDMW. Perfect. To be able to forward those to this investor. And it's AI is where 99% of everything that all of us are doing is going to go. It's not going to replace people, but it's going to make everything that we do simplified and faster, and be able to, instead of taking 3 years to get something done, it's done in 3 or 4 hours.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be awesome. They could write books and they'll be able to make a movie.
We're,
Yeah.
we're actually going to be pioneers in it, the way this is looking at this point, because we're
careful,
bringing two different elements together that amplify the living crap out of it. With our resources in this, if it's done properly, we could run this darn country as far as the real estate market is concerned before anybody gets a chance to say boo. It's all about timing. And the way this is looking right now, we're going to be in a great spot to catch all this stuff that's going to hell in a handbasket with AI to be able to keep up with it. So we could set AI, you can use AR to set networks that we're going to buy, syndicate, all that kind of stuff. And in place, and when it does happen, you're moving on it. We've
Right,
got that
'cause this-
capability coming in now.
Because as
So
we've been
we-
talking with a couple of the syndications, and that's been the thing now, is where I've been trying to build a network, a new source for leads, I guess maybe is in a sense, is working with tax professionals. One of the guys that I follow, David Perez, he is a tax strategist, and it's most tax professionals are not. They're really good at doing your taxes for you, but most of them do not know how to set investors up, or people that have money on, hey, you made $700,000 last year. You need to
where you
invest.
need to go, that's one way, but coming from the industry myself, where you really need to go is financial advisors that are certified, fiduciary types that deal with business owners and the like, okay? Because they know how to structure this stuff, taxes, liabilities, the whole 9 yards. They cover everything. Okay, if you get in with those guys, you're in a much better position because you can actually show how it folds into their current business. A lot of times they'll have people that are in real estate, and that's their only thing, and they need to get tuned up. But that's really where you need to go. Nothing against the tax people, but they're just specifically for taxes. They're not really into wealth generation, wealth preservation, or any of that. Whereas you
Right.
are, okay. So you want to go that direction with it, and then insurance, property. Not some. You can do some with property and casualty, but your life health is where you're going to find a lot of these financial planners tied into, because of all the different annuities and some of those products they sell. So these would be some excellent sources. And then again, through the AI programs that we're talking about doing here, a person in your position is actually better suited to be able to utilize what we're getting ready to do, because you can build it from scratch.
Mhm.
Okay. And that's kind of what we're looking for here. We're looking for people that can think about this kind of stuff outside the box, because it's not in a box. It's in some squiggly, whirly looking thing. Okay.
Right.
And if you think in that way, you're going to get a lot further down the road than most people, especially with us, because you're going to put it's just not Nate, me, and Jesse. There's a whole bunch of other people like you that are in this in one form or another. And we're all working as a team.
Right.
So
It's a
you're bringing
community
your
instead of a bunch of
expertise here,
individuals.
Yeah, and then we're nationwide. Actually, we're just getting into the overseas stuff, okay? So it's
Gotcha.
We have
This-
a contact of one of our associates is in Melbourne, Australia. She's been in
Yeah.
since 2020.
that's
We got
what
it.
I
We
was
hope.
getting ready to say.
Yeah.
We have a call with her after we get done here as it is. The whole point is, I can't go too deep into the weeds here, but you
No.
can it's going to be an experience to say the least.
Okay. Now,
Anything that you
just-
thought you were able to do, you might as well just throw that in the trash, because you're going to be 1,000 times farther down the road than you ever thought you ever would be. Let's put it that way.
Okay, that sounds, I'm down with that. Now, you were bringing up as far as like life insurance and stuff like that is, I've been learning a little bit more and more, and I say a little bit, in the index, was it Index Universal Life,
Index,
the
yeah,
IUL
and
Infinite Baking?
there's that, the indexed, the indexed annuities, all these different products that they're coming up with. And real estate, believe it or not, most of the insurance companies, their main investments they have are in real estate to back
real
their
estate.
products. Yeah, it's when a lot of their money's made. They take all the stuff that they collect and all the premiums, and they put it in these investments to be able to pay their claims. It's part of the process. So
Right.
they're looking for like-minded stuff to parallel their other positions and their other products. It just makes sense. The osmium,
Yeah.
not to get off the track here, but my thought on the osmium was, well, if you're going to market it, put it with some people that are going to have stuff along the side that they can just pull alongside with and won't create an economic drag or anything else on them. Okay. Because it's an economic driver and can be utilized that way. It can be used to leverage, like I said, $597 million is a lot of leverage. Okay.
Mhm.
So you can do the same kind of a situation with what you're getting ready to do. And then at the same time, it's together with Enzo Moreno and some of our other people, Gabe Grzinski. And I mean, seriously kick some serious tail. And then we've got people, Ms. Moore, hello. She's
Yeah.
looking into this. She wants to do $1,000. So what we do is we put you all together and you guys just go have fun. And then what? Okay, you need what now? Okay, let's see if we can find it for you. This way this is going to work.
We have 2 deals being done right now with one of our associates who lends money. And these deals were, when one guy, like I said, his partner got sick and had to pull out, so they had some rehab money that they needed that he doesn't have, and the deal's in progress, the rehab's in progress. And there's still enough money in there that we're able to piece together, and hopefully we think we found a partner for him in our group. And then another associate of mine is getting some working capital, which isn't something we normally do, but we were able to, possibly find him some working capital.
Okay, yeah, that sounds that, and there's pieces of this that it's where I feel like I'm this close to being able to make that next connection, that next leap, to be able to put a deal together. Because, like I said, I can do the math, I can run the numbers. I'm just that one little step off from being able to say, you know what, let's pull the trigger and buy 120 doors, because it's, right now it's trading at a 5% cap, which, cap rate's not everything, but it's like, hey, it's cash flowing. But with an, additional 1.3 million on that 120 doors, now it's going to be trading at a level where it's just doubled it. And now it's a 10% cap rate. So it's now doubled that cash flow in less than 1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
did you consider about trying to put some solar panels up on top of those roofs and maybe putting some covered parking out there and doing the same thing?
I
the cap
am more
rate
than
just went
open
up
to
again.
doing that. Right, because no, I don't. I hate leased
Water
solar
electric
panels.
units, okay, you can cut the rent on you can do all this, cut the rent. What is this? And still make money because you're getting a surplus.
Because you
power
developed it.
is being
Well,
sold.
we-
Oh yeah.
Well, we had this
Because-
conversation because we got a list of these like 15 things you could do outside the box to make more money on your
This is it.
multifamily.
You're getting-
Yeah,
you're
one of them was
getting
like
a-
leasing to the cell company.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're getting first-hand experiences to how we do these crazy things. I mean, I'm like Pinky in the Brain here. I come up with all kinds of crazy stuff out of nowhere that makes sense that nobody else is doing, that really tweaks the numbers, okay?
Hey,
I mean-
that's good with me.
If you put solar panels on these things and you maybe put covered parking, put panels on those, you can get rid of the gas bills, okay, and put all electric in there. Split that with the people that are in there, so they're reducing their electric bill and their utility bills, okay? And you still get a check from the power company. All of everything's powered by electrical in your setup there. Who's not going to want to be there? So you're going to end up having a pretty much 100% and everybody's going to be carrying.
Occupancy, right.
Okay, and then you got your cap rate, and then at the end of the line, the person that's going to buy it from you finance it for the guy who's not going to want to be there for that. You eliminate risk by putting these things together in such a way
Yeah.
that people can't compete with you. But they're all common sensical stuff.
Yeah,
And nobody's doing any of this.
and that's the part of what ties into that idea that my partner and I are working on is well, I'm sorry, I'm getting a lot of feedback. Is trying to find a way, because we have buyers that want to buy these properties, but they're like, I don't have 2 million to put down on that, and the seller wants 5 million to put down, and the seller will consider seller financing, and I'm like, how is there a way that instead of having to have the seller get creative, that we can help the buyer / us be the creative part for it, to be able to then purchase a property from that seller, so the seller gets the cash out. So, we give them a little bit less because, hey, nobody else is able to pay you cash, we can pay you cash, and then be able to be the seller finance to that end buyer. And it's beneficial to them. They just want it. It cash flows. They'll pay more for it. And then in effect, essentially taking that private money loan and selling it. So where it's like, hey, I bought the property for 10 million. It's worth 15. I sell it to the guy for 15. I now have a $5 million equity stake, quote unquote, with seller financing. He brings 2 million, 3 million to the table. That's where I get my cash out. And then I take that, 12 or $13 million money loan and I sell it to a private holder, and then they cash me out.
That's a way of being able to move it quick.
Right. But because there's all of these properties right now that nobody can buy because, upper investors can, but the cap rates aren't quite good enough for them to say, hey, I want to take my liquid capital and put it into that. And, because it's only 5-6%. They want 12, which if I had the money, that's what I'd want too.
Yeah, but you don't need to. Yeah, if you can sell it if doing what you're talking about doing, if you can get it for 6, you're doing a lot better because you can keep it moving. You're not going to get stagnant trying to move a 12% loan. It's going to keep people out of the game. And you're talking about, you want people that's going to be there.
I'm not saying 12% loan. I'm saying 12% cap rate because of where I buy it from. That it's, and this is part of, I'm writing the Excel spreadsheet trying to sort out how to make it make sense. But like a quick version on it would be, the property's worth, the seller's asking 10 and it's at a 6% cap rate. So it's okay.
Right.
But nobody can pay that because they don't have the $3 million down for him to finance the last 7. They've got 1 or maybe 2. Whereas we come in and say, hey, you know what? You're not getting 10 million. We'll offer you 9 cash. He says, okay. Well, then we now have the buyers that we know want to buy the property, and they'll pay 14.
Right.
But then we give them terms. So we give them the terms. So we've got, a performance deed clause in there. So, if they don't perform, hey, we just get the property back that we already know is making money. But in that same sense, after a year, we've now taken, they bring 2 million to the table on the 14. So we've got a $12 million note and $9 million that we used or borrowed to collect it and put together, syndicated, that we owe, quote unquote. So at that point, we take that 14. Sorry, so we said what, so 15, trying to do the math backwards in my head again. Take their $2 million out. So effectively out of their $14 million purchase price, we now have a $12 million note. We didn't take that $12 million note and sell it to a note holder, that people that want to buy those private money notes, for 10 million. Yeah. So they now have a $2 million spread plus whatever the interest is on that note. But we now sold the property that we couldn't move. We got the $2 million cash down payment from the buyer. And so effectively just turned the property and turned $1 million in less than a year on 9 million.
Yeah. So basically you figured out how to fix and flip a apartment complex without having to do the fixing.
Yes.
Put it lightly.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, because it's like the buyers want to buy it. They just need the terms, and they can't get the terms because the sellers want to cash out. So we're trying to,
we can do a number of things with that. Number one, you've got a good base, but we can actually throw in some subsets in there, which actually make it even more dynamic. which actually gives you more to work with for whoever you're dealing with. So the thing of it is, I think with us, you're going to be in a much better position to do what you want to do much more efficiently and be able to move even the high end stuff that you're looking at that nobody else wants. We can probably find that. I think this will be a good fit. I really do. And again, we've got Angel Moreno, which can really put the two of you together and get out. Or we'll find another city to sit there because you guys are going to be so energetic about this. You can ask Nate. That there's no way you're never gonna lose, and you can set it up in such a way that, like clockwork, every single time it's moved, and it's like a formula, and it's 100% every single time. You could tune it up that way. I really think if you can do that and be able to move it at the pace that you're looking to do, it'll be a much more efficient way of doing things with us than it would be just trying to do what you're doing on your own. And what you're trying to do on your own is excellent. Just to let you know. It really is. It's the kind of thinking that we're talking about. People that just, I don't know, it's like they get stuck in a mud or something. They just don't use their brains anymore. They can't come up with some of this that actually gets something done all the way around the board. They're just thinking of themselves or just thinking a certain about a segment of it. They don't think about all the aspects of it. And you're doing that, and then you're making sure that all the aspects have multiple avenues to get it taken care of if something snagged.
Right.
We have the people that can work with you on that. The funding part is not going to be a problem with this because the way it's presented when we put the fund package together, it makes sense to the funders, and the funders are going, can we have some more of that, please?
Right. And that's where we're looked at.
Yeah, the risk has dropped considerably because of the way the deals are structured. The people that are in there are trained. We've got people that'll help the people that are coming in if they need to figure out how to fix the place if that's necessary.
Right.
You can take it the extra mile with these people. As long as it makes the project succeed, that's all that matters. And you're thinking the way that we like to see people think, right out the box. So I personally, I think you're a fantastic fit with this, with us and all the people that we have affiliated with us and what's coming up, not too distant down the future as far as the bike is concerned. I mean, you're set. You're in the catbird seat. I don't know how long you've been having to struggle with this, but I'm glad you at least were able to get on board with us here, at least on this call or on this Zoom thing, because it's kind of nice to know that there's people out there who are doing it. And Nancy could probably tell you a little bit about where I'm coming from on this, but I think she's probably smiling right now because she knows exactly where I'm coming from and exactly what, let's just say they're not going to be in a bad spot.
Okay. Well, this is very encouraging. Like when Nate and I spoke last week, we were having a little bit of connection issues. On the phone call. But it was, it happens. And, but everything that we were talking through, I mean, even outside, for me, I'm a physical asset guy myself. I did a little bit with crypto, nothing major, like, $1,000, $1,500, but I'm like, I get the idea behind it. I like the idea of blockchain, but I'm like, as far as investment purposes, I'm like, I want real stuff. I want stuff I can put my hands on. I want stuff I can touch, see, taste, whatever. Because in the long run, that's always what's going to be around forever. That's why we still have gold, because gold is going to be around forever. Real estate very much so the same way as, people need somewhere to live. People need land to be able to trade. You need land to be able to build and buy, and feed people.
Well, right now there's a massive shortage of apartments, and this is a nationwide problem because nobody can afford to deal with the houses at this time. So there should be no reason whatsoever why you can't move it. And if it's just a few snags, doing what you're getting ready to do allows you the efficiency to become one of the leaders in the industry. And that's basically what we're looking to do. And a number of our people that are in here now that are in the multifamily genre, like you're talking about, are doing just that. They're just kicking butt and taking names. And they're always looking for people that are like-minded to get together with, and that's what it's about. It's not a competition thing. It's like, how can we help each other get more efficient? The ultimate syndication without actually being syndicated, well, I don't know.
It's a network.
renegade syndicates. You know, I don't know. It's just the way it is, all right.
Is it-
We think
Is it time for my my physical assets joke? Hey, this
Not
is my
yet.
physical. This is my physical asset. My barbecue sauce. See, that's me on it. So I tell people
there's
it's
such
mine.
thing as
I can
plug
sell.
only, Nate, that you can't do on Zoom. Okay, that's it. You're busted. Now the SEC's going to come knocking on your door.
Hey, I'm gonna sell 12,000 of them this summer. So I tell people it's my physical asset. My hot sauces, my spice rubs. I'm not hawking them. I'm just making the joke because people are like, you know. So I donate money from the proceeds to my high school football program. So it's
Very
kinda
cool. Very cool.
Yeah, it's
Well,
cool, man. It's good
Kevin,
shit,
Nate,
too.
thank you very much. I appreciate the input and the support there. That's exciting because
I'm hoping that you join up because I'd really be interested in working with you, and I want to pair you up with Angel as well and see what the hell happens. I kind of like to see this kind of stuff. You know, I'm curious about how that would look. You know, how it would turn out. You know, and Nancy, you know, she's looking to get into multifamily too. I mean, we could put Gabe Brzezinski. I mean, we could put one heck of a team together on multifamily.
And you're
Really.
forgetting Anthony.
And well, Anthony's doing a little bit of everything. I mean, these guys are concentrated specifically on that. And then there's D Moore, who's again, she be a perfect fit. You know, I mean, she can do a lot of the grunt work, and she's into learning, and she just being experienced in what you guys are doing. It does a lot. I mean, I think it's a great thing. I mean, and I think we're going to have enough funding where we could do a bunch of these.
Yeah, we're working on a lot of
It's
stuff.
like a machine. If you got successful, if you got something that you know is going to come out basically 100% all the way across the board, the funding is just sitting there waiting to go. And
Right.
we'll set up a funding machine much the same specifically for your program so that it's there to do just what you're talking about. You know, you could tune it up that way.
I bought a scrub daddy.
Yeah,
that sounds good.
Right.
So
would I just
Yeah,
expect that
so-
Nate, you'll be able to send me send me the information as far as whatever it is that I needed on that regard, so I can.
yeah, I'll send that to you tonight or first thing at the latest tomorrow in the morning.
That's
But, yeah,
fine.
I'll
You
get
can send
that
it to me
you right
tomorrow.
now.
I got 4 deals to underwrite tonight, and then I got to jump on.
I'll send it to you just in Messenger. Okay, and then
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
yeah, and then I will get that out to you guys. Or I mean, you guys can actually even just go on. You know, I can do it. I can send that to you.
Yeah, my partner, when he and I were talking earlier today, we actually got an LOI, a bio sheet, and a I forgot the other one. It was a new one for me that I hadn't heard before. On an 8,420 unit file that we have.
Because I sketched over top of where my veins.
And I'm like, I kind of laughed because I was like, really, I'm like, okay, how is this even legit? Like, is this person? And as we've been looking through the bio and looking through everything, the
It is, isn't it?
potential buyer, I'm just like, holy crap! Like, seriously, it's a half a billion dollar, $457 million deal.
Jerry, this is what's going to be happening here. There are several companies that are underwater because of what happened during the mortgage moratorium.
Yep.
And also the rates are starting to go up. So their notes commercially are not going to be tenable anymore. So they're trying to liquidate. The other thing is the banks themselves go under, a lot of those assets will end up on the market as well because of that.
Correct.
So what we're doing here, the timing here could be better because we can get positioned to be able to just like a funnel, suck all that in.
Snap them up.
And I see that situation coming up with you guys. That's why I'm saying I see an opportunity here putting all you people together and just turn you into a mad machine doing mega multifamily and never really having to actually own any of it. I mean, it's just a machine. It's a flipping turning machine. I mean, if you got it a year, that's a long time.
Right.
And then finding the artificial intelligence components that we have access to and tuning them up specifically for your purpose. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I see when they talk. When I saw these guys put everything together there, that's what I was looking at. And having us going in 25, 50 of these a week wouldn't be hard to do.
No, not at all.
And you're saying the same thing. Well, you got all this coming in, but you can't get it moved out fast enough. Well, okay. Hey, I think we can figure that out. It's not that hard to do. And with the people that we already have on board that have been here for a while now, shoot, you know? So I think it's a perfect fit. I mean,
And tell you what, Cameron's probably going to put 1,000 houses out just with our group.
yeah, I know. He's got the same situation going on with single family. He's got a cookie cutter program that comes out with the same results every single time. And that's basically what you want to be able to do is instead of just trying to nitpick and everything else, you put a formula of what you're looking for and you stay with it. You tune it so it
Right.
stays within the times and the time frames what's going on market wise. You try to go out a year ahead to forecast, and I'm getting pretty good at that. I think I call this downturn about 6 months ahead of time. Okay. But that's all you got to do. And we're all about staying ahead. We're about trailblazing. We're not about reacting, which is kind of what everybody else has been up to. All right. They're all worried about what the Fed, I've had their playbook for 11, 12 years now. I know exactly what's going to happen. They are absolutely screwed right now. They got in there and
Especially
bought
after today.
notes. They bought the mortgage notes. They bought the treasuries. They had the money market funds getting in their repo system. They have nothing to do with any of this that can't be. I mean, they're hurting themselves by doing any of this. So I don't know what they're going to be able to do realistically. Okay, they'll raise the rates. Okay, more banks are failed. Well, we can't do that. Okay, well, the insurance, the inflation goes back up. They're not going to be able to tame inflation because all that extra money floating around outside the United States is going to come home now. It's going to be like World War II with all the surplus equipment they just dumped in the ocean. Okay, it's the same situation with the dollar. They abused the living crap out of the dollar for the last 35, 40 years. Think they can do it forever and ever and ever. And now it's the point where, and now
Chicken's
nobody
coming home to the roost.
can't trust the United States. So now we're stuck with that. Okay. Well, private money, if all else fails, we'll just take it outside the United States and keep turning that way. It's very flexible. And that's exactly what we're doing.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So that information will come in the morning. And then how to get in. I mean, it's just really a link. And then once you're in there, I sent you the invitation link to the private groups. And after that, and then you're good. And then Monday night, we're doing the AI, and our sessions are Monday night. If you can't make it, everybody gets
what
the
time?
link. Oh, we used to start at 6 o'clock Denver time.
Yeah, where are you located?
I'm in Maryland. I'm East Coast.
So you're like, it's 8. And if you have to cut out early, like I said, we'll send the link. So if you come on, but you have to leave early, make sure you let me know. And if you have anything to talk about, I'll make sure you get in early. You get to talk early before you have to leave. Jesse's in Massachusetts, so you guys are like, we have a few people. So, and if you can't make it,
yeah,
then,
that's
by 10
for me.
o'clock,
It's usually I'm still working the good old W-2. So I work 55, 60 hours a week at the car dealership. So I've been doing that for quite a while, and but then when I come home, so these kind of timings actually work out well because usually I'm supposed to be getting out of there around 8 o'clock or 9ish. So I might be joining a little bit late, but I usually be able to get on the call.
And then by noon your time, on Tuesday, we put the private video link for YouTube in the group. So you just go in the group and you can just go watch the videos. And we have a special chat where we put here's weeks, and it's just got Monday night sessions. And you can just go in there and you can watch all the 9 we just did, the 10 we just did too. You can go catch up and stuff. And we have different chats, like we have diversions for osmium and the gold and all that. So we try to separate that because not everybody's interested in that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I got you.
So we're a group that's really kind of about that. Like if you're not interested in that, you can just avoid that, clicking onto that side of the group. Yeah, I'll send you information in the morning. So great, and Casey is great. I sent you Cameron. Try to connect you with Cameron. Doris, I'll talk to you Monday. Kevin, I'll probably call you later.
Thanks a lot.
All right, guys, logging off.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
Thanks,
have a good night.
Okay.